Now, 2025 has been one hell of a great year for video games, and while there simply isn't enough time to play all of the fantastic titles released over the past 12 months, at least a fair few of them have made serious bank. Yeah, major commercial success has been enjoyed by some of the games of this year, especially the ones that we're going to be talking about today. From gargantuan AAA behemoths to more modest AA's and even indie romps, there has been space for a wide gamut of games to succeed in the only way it counts, and that's with cold, hard cash. Clearly, I'm being very facetious here. Anyway, let's have a chat. As I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are 10 games that made the most money in 2025. Number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Now, it is a testament to the unwavering and undeniable nature of the Call of Duty franchise that even though Black Ops 7 has drastically underperformed compared to last year's Black Ops 6, it's still on course to be one of the most commercially successful games of 2025. Indeed, Black Ops 7's launch week sales in Europe were down 50% on the previous game, and more shockingly, were even 63% lower than genre competitor Battlefield 6, which it has historically eclipsed with ease. Most telling of all, Activision shied away from boasting about player engagement statistics during Black Ops 7's launch period, quietly confirming that this game definitely fell short of even their expectations. And yet, Call of Duty is such a commercial behemoth of an IP that even a brutal underperformance is still an industry exercise in printing money. Now, while it didn't make $1 billion in 10 days like Black Ops 6 did, the fact that Black Ops 7 still had more than 100,000 concurrent players on Steam alone during its launch weekend ensures that it definitely remains leagues ahead of 99.9% of other games. We don't know the exact dollar amount, but Black Ops 7 surely has already made at least a few $100 million, and will make plenty more before next year's edition, especially when you factor in microtransactions. Lovely. Number 9, Split Fiction. Considering that Hazelight's previous game, It Takes Two, has sold over 23 million units globally, expectations were pretty high for their follow-up title Split Fiction to be a sales juggernaut right out of the gate. And you know what? It sure didn't disappoint. In just 2 months, the co-op action platformer shifted an impressive 4 million units, an especially laudable figure given that It Takes Two took 5 months to sell 3 million units. The pedigree of the studio's previous game, combined with a mid-budget launch price and the need for only one player to actually buy the game, basically resulted in a perfect storm for Split Fiction to be another easy smash hit. Now, it remains to be seen if Split Fiction can maintain the mind-boggling sales momentum that kept It Takes Two shifting units for years, but even if not, a conservative estimate puts it around $200 million in revenue during its launch period alone. And considering the game's approximate $60 million production budget, that is a phenomenal return on investment, and positions Hazelight well for whatever their next project might be.
Hey guys, it's time to talk about today's video sponsor. No one, actually. It's just us at the FGS channel here. Just asking you to take some time out of your day to subscribe to this wonderful channel. And I'm also just going to say, now we can all just laugh at the people who skipped forward a couple of minutes there because they thought I was going to do an actual ad read, and there isn't one. So yeah, they've just now come back to find that me making fun of them. Enjoy that. Bonus content. There's more of that if you subscribe.
Number 8, Ark Raiders. New third-person extraction shooter Ark Raiders has been one of the big success stories of 2025, a AA multiplayer game which could have so easily have been just blended into the glut of live service titles trying to reheat Helldivers 2's nachos. But the game's enthusiastically received open beta did indeed translate to phenomenal sales success, with it closing in on 7 million sales less than a month after release. This placed its sales trajectory just shy of Helldivers 2, which is currently close to hitting 20 million units sold. Even if Ark Raiders didn't sell another copy though, its $40 price tag puts it close to $300 million in revenue, even without counting microtransactions. If Embark Studios continues to provide satisfying support, that number could easily be multiplied several times over in the coming years. And considering the hyper-competitive nature of the live service space, it's great to see a well-received title like Ark Raiders enjoying such stratospheric success. Number 7, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Though there was plenty of excitement for Donkey Kong Bonanza, few were expecting it to become the Switch 2's killer app, a crown that most just assumed would belong to Mario Kart World. And while the Kart Racer sequel certainly was well received, it didn't set the world on fire as many hoped, clearing a path for Bonanza to wildly overperform both critically and commercially. Rave reviews for its clever, gorgeous platforming helped drive strong launch period sales, with Bonanza clearing 3.49 million units within 2 months of release. A $70 launch price means it's raking in probably about $250 million in revenue already, but but between Christmas gifts and the tendency for well-received Nintendo games to have long legs, 10 to 15 million lifetime sales is absolutely on the cards here. Coupled with Nintendo's historic tendency to not cut the price of their games post-launch, cheers Nintendo, love you for that, Bananza could very well close in on around $1 billion before all is said and done. And that's crazy. Number 6. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is very likely to win more Game of the Year awards than any other title over the next few months, but even before it enjoys an inevitable sales boost from awards season, it's already shifted 5 million units within its first 6 months on the market. And given that there was a very real potential for the hit RPG to be an acclaimed flop considering the developer's lack of pedigree, its modest marketing campaign, and the fact that Clair Obscur is an original IP, this is an especially impressive performance. It also likely helped that publisher Kepler Interactive released the AA title with a mid-range $50 price tag, incentivizing more on-the-fence players to roll the dice on it compared to a typical $70 AAA launch cost. With that in mind, Expedition 33 is likely hovering at around $300 million in revenue, without even factoring in money generated by its inclusion on Xbox Game Pass. And again, impending Game of the Year honors will likely prompt many more people to play the game over the coming months. Number 5. Pokémon Legends Z-A. The Pokémon franchise is about as much of a commercial sure thing as it gets in video games. I mean, it's just inconceivable that a new entry won't generate stupid amounts of moolah. Even so, it's easy to underestimate the series' commercial reliability, but the recently released Pokémon Legends Z-A sold 5.8 million units on launch week alone. Even accepting that this figure actually falls shy of the numbers posted by recent Pokémon games like Pokémon Legends, Arceus, and Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, it is an eye-watering result by any typical metric. Across both Nintendo Switch consoles, Z-A generated roughly $375 million in revenue during its launch week alone, which is an even better result given that the recent leaks revealed the game's budget to have been a mere $13 million. To say that Game Freak is making money hand over fist here would be the understatement of the century, and with the holidays coming up, that figure is only going to keep climbing steeply. Number 4. Mario Kart World. There was never a reality where Mario Kart World wouldn't end up among the year's most successful games, because, I mean, come on, it's a Mario Kart game that also happens to be a launch title for Nintendo's new hit console. Within roughly 4 months of release, Mario Kart World sold 9.57 million copies, a figure undeniably boosted by Nintendo's ingenious decision to sell the game at a discount as part of a Switch 2 console bundle. Even so, it took franchise predecessor Mario Kart 8 Deluxe approximately a year to sell the same number of units. The fact that 8 Deluxe went on to shift almost 70 million copies and became the Switch's best-selling game definitely bodes incredibly well for sales longevity when it comes to Mario Kart World. The game has already conservatively made a few hundred million for Nintendo, and that number will surely be multiplied many times over, well past the $1 billion mark before the end of the Switch 2's life cycle. Number 3. Monster Hunter Wilds. While it was basically a given that Monster Hunter Wilds would be a huge sales hit for Capcom, few could have predicted just how well it would do during its launch window. Within just 3 days of release, the action RPG sold a mind-melting 8 million copies, far eclipsing the 5 million sold in the same period by its mainline predecessor, 2018's massively successful Monster Hunter World. Furthermore, this astonishing achievement made Wilds the fastest-selling game in the entire storied history of publisher Capcom. Within a month of release, Wilds crossed the 10 million mark, a milestone that Wilds took a whole 7 months to accomplish. It is nothing if not a startling indication of how Monster Hunter's popularity has skyrocketed over the last 5 or so years, and even accepting that sales have slowed down considerably in recent months, it still generated around $750 million for Capcom in pure game sales alone. And then there's obviously microtransaction revenue on top of that. Number 2. Battlefield 6. After Battlefield 2042 launched to scathing user reviews and fell far short of EA's sales expectations, DICE absolutely had to come out of the gate swinging for the next entry in the beloved FPS franchise. And boy howdy, they sure did that alright. Battlefield 6 released to strong acclaim and was universally regarded as a huge improvement over its predecessor, enough so that it shifted 7 million units in just 3 days, generating over $350 million in gross revenue and serving as the biggest launch in Battlefield history. Within 3 weeks of release, the game passed an astonishing 10 million copies sold, making it 2025's best-selling game in the US. The sales performance was surely boosted by not only the narrative that Battlefield 6 was a major return to form for the series, but also the relative underperformance of its main rival, as we previously discussed, Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And it goes without saying that Battlefield 6's sales will enjoy a major further uplift over the holiday period, likely putting it on course to become the best-selling game in the franchise's history. And considering how ludicrous ludicrously entertaining the game's multiplayer suite is, you'll love to see it. And number 1, EA Sports FC26. Underestimate the popularity of football games at your peril, as once again evidenced by the stonking sales success of EA Sports FC26. The latest entry in EA's annualized sports franchise reportedly sold over 10 million copies within 2 weeks of its launch. Furthermore, EA reported a revenue increase from last year's edition, which they stated underperformed in sales relative to the 2024 release. Base game sales alone surely netted EA upwards of $500 million, without even getting into the trickier matter of microtransactions. The series' Ultimate Team mode, which is driven by an in-game currency called FC points, generates well over $1 billion per year, and therefore accounts for a major chunk of EA's overall annual revenue. And so even a conservative estimate places the game's current total revenue at around $1 billion, with much more left to be earned before the game's 2027 edition releases in late 2026. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 games that made the most money in 2025. I hope you enjoyed that, my friends, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome, my friends. Hope you're having a lovely day, and hope that you continue to have a lovely week and a lovely life, my friend. Just remember, above all else, treat yourself with that love and respect that you bloody well deserve. And why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you're a massive ledge. Now get out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.